Hello, everybody. Time for yet another unannounced live stream because I generally just do these when time permits, when I'm feeling good, when I'm energetic. I got a little break in the action. I've accomplished all the things, the main things that I needed to accomplish today. And so I try and squeeze in a live stream where I can here and there, let some news pile up, as I've said before, things that interest me. I'm like, all right, we'll talk about this. So today I will just talk about some whatever you want to talk about, whatever the chat wants to talk about, and think I'll bring up the Zelda, the final Zelda trailer. Talk a little bit about the Miss Marvel or Marvels trailer. Not too much. Few updates on some iconic stuff. Little political action. This guy, man. This guy, this Justin Pearson guy. I initially was not going to say anything about this guy, but he just keeps showing up in my feed, and it's kind of like I couldn't stop laughing this morning when I saw some of the new videos with this guy. I was like, you know what? I'm going to comment on this guy because he's gotten a free pass. Where is this? There's 2016 version of him versus like, will the real Justin Pearson please stand up? Please stand up, sort of thing. So yeah, and let's see. So Brett Palmer, thanks for tuning in. Mr. Gahovac, thanks for tuning in. Clickety clank, I put the money in my piggity pank. Yeah, so I mean, we could start just talking about Mr. Pearson right away. So again, I didn't even follow too much about the Nashville shooting and the fallout from that, and these representatives that they led this protest in the Capitol that got all raucous, and they had megaphones, and then they were essentially booted, but then they came back. Yeah, it's the Tennessee guy. But initially when I saw this guy and I saw that the way he was talking, I was like, this guy, man, this is so over the top. He like wants to be some 1950s civil rights leader or something along those. He's like trying so much to channel these old civil rights leaders back in the day, but back when racist cops were shooting people with the fire hoses and sicking dogs on them or whatever, like decades and decades and decades ago. He still thinks like that's what he wants to channel that so badly on so many levels. But then these people are like, yeah, no, if you saw him just a couple years ago, he was like a different dude altogether. So let me see. There's a couple videos of this guy.
I'm Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of PSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation.
Resurrection is a promise, and it is a prophecy. It's a prophecy that came out of the cotton fields. It's a prophecy that came out of the lynching tree. It's a prophecy that still lives in each and every one of
us. Everything about that guy is manufactured. It's like he was like, focus group and just decided like, this is who I'm going to be today because this is going to resonate with whatever audience I am trying to manipulate to do the things that I want to do. So if it's 2016, he's going to be Mr. Clean Cut Guy. I want to relate to you, Tennessee. And then in 2023, I've got oh yeah, the black people and the white people and the Jesus, that sort of stuff. So that's what he's all about. And to me, I'm just like, how do people take this guy seriously? And actually, he doesn't even take himself. So here's another clip of this. So, all right. So this one, this is the one that had me cracking up this morning when I woke up. So I wake up and I make my little tea and I sit down with my blueberries. And as I'm, my wife, after she leaves for the day, and then I'm like going through my stuff and like, okay, let's see what news is out there or whatever. And it's this guy. And again, I've held off talking about this guy because I was like, I just want to ignore him, but it's getting out of control.
I believe it is a vision. People who've been ostracized coming to the well. I see white folk and black folk. I see
you white folk and the black folk. Oh yeah. And then the thing that he does here, he's pushing his glasses to his nose. He's got the articulations and the bop and the boop and the beep and the bow. I see the black people and the white people and the gay folk and the straight folk and the trans folk and the women and the men and the book and the backity.
It is this movement that's going to change this country. It's this movement in this moment in time that's going to change the country. And I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Give me a break. I got the gesticulations and the mode. The Holy Spirit is going through me. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not, because you're a little manipulator.
It is a celebration, clearly on the steps.
It's like he's trying to channel James Brown and Martin Luther King with some sort of like Black Baptist preacher, and all of these people rolled into one for 2023, and this is going to resonate with people. And it only really resonates with, again, all these people know that this is fake. It's manufactured, it's completely engineered, and of course, MSNBC eats it right up because they love this stuff, because they want to portray themselves as well as, okay, this is some new civil rights movement or something along those lines. And it all ties back to this, the trans stuff. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, these people, they have it so good in the United States in 2023 that they have to invent dragons to slay, because they don't have any major dragons at all. So it's like, what is the purpose of my life? Because a lot of these people, I'll get to the Elon Musk thing. They literally don't even believe in objective moral truths. They don't even believe in God. A lot of them will basically put on a religious, as I was talking with the Trump skin suit last week with like certain activist type people putting that on. These people put on the religious skin suit, and then they use that as well. So let's see, Neostar Production, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Brett Palmer, it's funny but also scary because there's actually an audience of drones for this, which is scary. Yeah, no, there is. And I actually did an interview with my buddy Christopher Lawrence yesterday. It should be up in the near future. And we talked for roughly 2 hours. 45 minutes of it was about MMA and UFC stuff. But we talked about supernatural and how a lot of things how the ideology itself affects people in ways that they don't even realize. So some of these people that you're calling drones, in many ways, they don't control the ideology. The ideology controls them. They have become unwitting puppets of the actual ideology. So I was telling Chris, preview or spoiler, Xander, thanks for tuning in, that so you have your conscious mind, and that's like the tip of the iceberg, but then underneath, essentially the ideas that you embrace, that you sort of like embed into your soul and allow that to transform you in many ways. If you have a bad philosophy, if you have or an evil philosophy, then it starts working on you. It's like a script in a computer that starts changing you. and it's running in the background in ways that you don't even really understand a lot of the times. So these people in the crowd, whatever percentage of them actually thinks that this is real, they think that this Pearson guy, they don't even know that a few years ago he was completely different. Now, here's another thing. I've seen in my own life, there was a kid when I was growing up with, I don't want to dox this guy, but there was a kid I grew up with named Jason. Very nice guy, black dude. We went to elementary school together, and then randomly as we got older, we would run into each other here or there or whatnot. So he talked exactly like I am talking to you right now, the vast majority of time. So we knew each other for many, many years. And then there was a period of time where like I didn't see him, and then I saw him again, and he completely adopted a different dialect, a personality. He was all like street bro, like this sort of thing where it wasn't him, but he had both. I literally saw him switch off personalities depending on who he was talking with. So if he was at a table with a bunch of like other like, yeah, bro, yo, we're street, yo, we're thug, bro. Yeah, bro. Like that sort of stuff. He would talk like that. But then if he came over to a table and it was just like, say it was like me and some other random people or whatever, then he would just talk normally, just like he had always talked since he was little. And so it was clear that he had this alternate sort of street yo personality that he switched off and on, like almost like a light switch. And he didn't, at least publicly, who knows what was going on privately with him, but it seemed like it was almost automatic and he didn't see anything wrong with it, but it was two completely different personalities. So this is like a very similar thing where this guy has different, I don't want to say like he's suffering from multiple personality disorder or something, because he's not, but it's sort of like that where they have created different personality types to relate to different audiences. But all these people, they're always talking about you want to be your authentic self and all of these sorts of things, but they don't even know who they are. So they're constantly switching back and forth between all of these different personalities that maybe they want to be, or they feel they need to be, or whatever. So yeah, and if you're just turning in right now, we're talking about this Justin Pearson guy. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's embarrassing, but this is where we're at. And the fact that you would actually have large crowds of people that are who are not laughing hysterically at this guy and say, get out of here, dude. Like, this is not who you are. And you are not oppressed. In fact, you're celebrated. You're put all over the news, all over the place. You act like a complete fool in front of, your fellow representatives and all of this. And maybe someone wanted to there's some sort of adverse action or punishment for your ridiculous behavior, and so you have to turn that into some sort of civil rights struggle. It's not. And then all of these people that are helping you out, you always see they always got the chubby fat faces, because before they even went to this sort of thing, they were probably at Starbucks getting some $12 drink that's loaded up with sugar and syrup and all that. And they have the money to just go to Starbucks, and afterwards they're just like, yeah. Oh yeah, we got those guys. Yeah, they totally bought it. So anyway, I'm just not a fan of the political theater and making yourself out to be some giant victim when you're not. Pearson, he went to a $76,000 per year school fighting the struggle from within the heart of rich white America. Yeah, I didn't know too much about him, but I do know that he is just a chameleon of sorts, and very telling. Now, since we went from you black folk and the white folk, we will go to, where's Elon Musk? Because this is similar. We're talking about liars here. All right, so boop. This is all related. I'm tying this all together. So if you didn't see Elon Musk, the BBC, I heard that they essentially just showed up at the doorstep in San Francisco and they demanded an interview with him. And there's this duder, I forgot his name here, but he basically wants an interview with Elon, and he says,
Content you don't like or hateful? What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
so this guy says he's seen an uptick of hateful rhetoric on Twitter, and Elon's like, give me a specific response.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist,
something racist, something sexist, something homophobic, something.
or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying
I'm not saying it. You literally just said.
I'm just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content. And I'm asking for specific examples. And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
I'd say it got slightly more. So he says his specific feed, and then Elon's like, oh, really? Give me one example.
So I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't need. Honestly, I don't.
Name a single example.
I'll tell you why, because I don't actually use that for you
But you just said you saw hateful rhetoric.
feed anymore, because I just don't particularly like it.
But you
And
said
actually,
you-
a lot of people are quite similar. I only
Well,
look at
hang on
my
a second.
followers.
You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
Look at his face. You got me.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and
Well, then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last.
Dude, this guy is like a little kid that got caught. His hand was in the cookie jar, and his mom literally caught him, and she's like, what are you doing with your hand in the cookie jar? And he's like, oh, my hand wasn't in the cookie jar. I just saw you close the cookie jar. What do you mean your hand was not? It was, but little Timmy was in the cookie jar, and I was just
6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen that you for your hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give us a single one.
notice that he like looks up. So he's doing that like thing where it's like the visual tell that somebody is like, they're looking up in their head, they're thinking, they're trying to access that particular memory, and they can't even help it. Their eyes just look up. His head, he's like, oh crap, please give me something. God, give me an answer, please, and beam an answer into my head, God. But you don't believe in God, so I mean, good luck asking the guy that you deny him for help.
And I'm saying,
I say so that you don't know what you're talking about.
really.
Yes.
And then he has the nerve when Ethan's like, well, if you can't even come up with an example, then I'm not going to take you seriously. Oh, really? Yeah, really, dude. Look, your condescension, you're incredible. Oh, what? Me? I work for the BBC.
Because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet. And yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's
again, looks up, looks away. He's trying. His brain is, when your old laptop starts burning up because it's trying so hard to run the program, but it's just not working. And it's just, the fan starts blowing. That's what's going on in his brain right now.
the false.
no. What I
Read a
claimed,
slide.
what I claimed was there are many organizations that.
No, that's not what you claim. So now he is changing it up. Dude, this guy's dealing with Elon Musk. Whether you like Elon Musk or you dislike him, the guy is brilliant. he is living life on hard mode and he is succeeding on it. And so now he's sitting down with a guy who's going through life on easy mode, and he has a hard time on easy mode. This is, again, Elon didn't ask for this. This guy shows up to his doorstep. So if Elon was hunting down this guy to try and set up these things, it was just like, you're bullying a guy who's just a moron. No, it's not. This guy came to Elon. He wanted to fight with him. He wanted to play gotcha with him. And now all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm not powered up enough to deal with this guy. And I don't even think I could ever be powered up to deal with this guy. If you're going to have a fighting chance against Elon Musk in a back and forth debate, you probably should have the truth on your side.
Say that that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not, I mean, right, and literally, you look at something like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that. So look, people will say also.
So now he turns to random organizations that are these bizarro left-wing organizations that just say hate speech. And this is a microcosm, or this is a perfect example of what the media has done to large swaths of the population. And we'll just focus on the American population for years, because your average person doesn't have a chance to get into a back and forth with this guy. So for years, and actually really decades, the media has been gaslighting people into believing that they're bigots and racists and homophobes and just bad people. But your average person does not have the ability to just sort of actually fight back. So Elon, in many ways, has done a great service because he has spotlighted how dishonest these people are. Also, Sweetcast is in the building. Sweetcast, let's see, that this interview cracked me up. This is why the left hates Elon. We'll do a little UE real quick. So I'm assuming everybody who's watching this probably knows about Clint, but Dougcast Volume 4 Hunting Ground is out right now. Clint has put out a number of books. Clint has always minded his P's and Q's. Clint has always stayed in his own lane. Clint has kept his nose clean. He's just been working, putting his nose to the grindstone and doing his best to put out good books over the course of many years. And because of that, and I also, full disclosure, I have purchased all three, the previous issues of Dougcast. So I have read the books, and Clint is a solid writer, and he always has solid artists, including Matt Weldon, help out with his covers and things along those lines. So check it out, Dougcast Volume 4 and Hunting Ground. So, all right, so we will come back to that, but let's go back to Elon Musk and the lying media really quick.
Sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't.
This guy's just going in circles, and he knows he's caught. Just admit it. Just say, you know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, just own up to it, dude. But they can't own up to it because we'll get to this. They don't care about the truth. The modern journals. Now, earlier I said, this guy doesn't believe in God. Obviously, I don't know him personally, but if we go to the statistics, which we will in a second, you will see what I'm talking about. He is his peers in the media, and I used to be a part of the quote-unquote corporate media for a very long time. So I can go on for days about these sorts of people.
This is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago.
So if you saw hateful content weeks ago, hateful content that made you want to not look at that content, then you would know what that content was. For example, and we'll get to this, today I was like, you know what? I want to talk really briefly about the Marvels trailer. So I wanted to look at that, and I looked, and oh, hey, Captain Marvel news has me blocked. I haven't said a word about Brie Larson or Captain Marvel in years, like literally years. And Captain Marvel News has me blocked. Apparently, this is Raf Rodriguez or whatever has me blocked. This is the guy that's got me blocked. I mean, are you shocked that Raf here's got me blocked? But obviously, Raf saw some content of mine along the way that if I were sitting right across from him, like, Raf, why did you block my feed? And he would be able to tell me. He'd be able to say something along the lines of, well, Doug, in 2019, you made a joke about Brie Larson in your feed, and you said that you liked Alita, and Alita was a better movie than Captain Marvel, and I just couldn't take it, and I had to block you for that. So, all right, back to Elon.
I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain.
Let's move on, because I've been caught lying, and so I don't want to talk about this anymore because I'm looking really bad, and I don't have the humility to just admit that I was caught lying. Please forgive me for lying.
Our time.
Well,
Elon. All right. Let's see. Oops. All right. Boom. All right. So now let's go to later in the day. All right. So my point was, and this is an old pointer, I was looking for this. I wanted to see the number of journalists that are actually religious in nature. And this pointer is probably the best I'm going to get in terms of journalistic credibility and this issue. And they didn't even have much. And this is from 2013. It says 8% of journalists at national publications and 14% of those at local publications reported attending worship services weekly, compared with 39% of the general public who reported the same. Okay, so now this is years ago. If you attend Mass on a weekly basis, or whatever your denomination is, your Latter-day Saints, you're Catholic, you're evangelical, you're Baptist, whatever you are, that's an indicator that you believe in objective moral truth, and you believe that truth is important. Now, obviously, Pointer goes on to say, but attendance and belief don't always correlate neatly, and it's important also to note that the newsroom employment has plunged between 2007 and today. So they're saying, listen, you don't need to go to Mass every weekend to believe in God. Yes, that is true. So these are the spiritual but not religious type of individuals. Okay, but the fact that you have 8% of journalists at national publications, it's only 8%. We can conclude reasonably, a rational person would conclude that the vast majority of journalists, so-called journalists, they do not believe in objective moral truth. So then, as I was talking about earlier, if you're just tuning in, if you adopt ideas, and I talked about this with Christopher Lawrence, I will share his interview when it's ready. If you adopt these ideas, there are essentially scripts running in the background of your mind that start to alter it and shape it in ways that you don't even understand, because underneath the iceberg, your subconscious mind is taking in information that you don't even realize. It's like when you're looking at, your eyes are taking in information, you can't think about everything, but you're still taking it in, and again, in ways you don't even realize. If you ever read about or talked to war veterans, and when they are in the heat of a firefight, they've got like hypersensitivity to all sorts of things around them. They're like, I didn't even realize I could take in this amount of information at once. The sights and the smells, the tactile nature of things, and the sounds that you're picking up. It's like the Matrix slow motion sort of thing. Anyway, you adopt a worldview where you're like, God doesn't exist. So therefore, and you might not even be conscious of this either. You really don't believe in objective moral truth once you say that this is all an accident of sorts, a cosmic, it's just whatever. The table was knocked over somewhere along the line. There's atoms bouncing across each other, and they just so happen to collide in a way that made us human, like life, possible. All these sorts of things. So if you don't believe in objective moral truth, then what do you believe in? the vast majority of these reporters, they just see everything through the lens of some sort of political or cultural or economic retribution of sorts. They have their own individual idea of what the world should be, and they want to get it there, and they want to get it there by any means necessary. And so they don't care about lying, because lying doesn't mean anything in a world that is meaningless. It's really just, I'm here, I'm technically, I guess I'm conscious, and while I'm here, I want it to be this way. And so they work to get it that way. It's not about truth. And that's why this guy here, he does not care about lying. He just got caught. They care about getting caught lying, and they care about if there is a large enough population out there that cares about the truth to hold him accountable or to punish him in some way for lying, i.e., not checking out the BBC, i.e., it damages the BBC credibility, i.e., not giving him a job at some other place that he wants to go to down the line. And so whether it is the BBC, whether it is, I gotcha, Mr. Pearson, these sorts of things, they're all liars. They've all marinated in this moral relativist soup their entire lives. And like I said, absent God, they got to fill the vacuum with something. What are they going to fill the vacuum with? Political activism. And their political activism is geared towards, I got the black people and the white people and the trans people and the straight people, and just doing whatever the heck they want. It's a communist types, that socialist communist worldview. That's what they want. So, all right, boom. All right, speaking of Captain Marvel, going back to this sort of stuff now, and this gets into YouTubers. I talked about this with Christopher Lawrence as well. I wasn't going to really harp on this. I've said before, I have not watched any of the MCU movies in years. Since the first phase, or since the Thanos chapter was complete, I checked out of the MCU. I don't even look at it. The only thing that looked remotely interesting to me is whatchamacallit, the Samuel L. Jackson, the new one that's coming out, Secret Invasion or whatnot. That actually looks like something that I would like. And actually, that's what I was thinking about. So it's very interesting. When Disney has a situation where it's already, let's say it's already established. Samuel L. Jackson has been Nick Fury for a long time now, and he's accepted as Nick Fury. Like any sort of controversy years ago, which as far as I know, there wasn't really any controversy. Like there was people that were like, dude, like Nick, you're just going to make a new Nick Fury. Like that's kind of weird, but it was in an alternate universe. So they didn't care, whatever. Nick Fury or Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury, has been for years. They don't care. Once the political junk is off the table, they don't need to worry about that. Then they can worry about story. And so it's like, oh, we don't need to tell a story that celebrates Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. He just is. So now we don't need to dedicate or allocate creative real estate to the political agenda stuff. That's done and over with. Okay, boom. Now they concentrate on just telling a story. It seems like that's what happens. And Secret Invasion actually looks pretty good. But they've done so much to alienate individuals like myself that I just really don't care. But this particular trailer, to me,
we're looking for Kamala Khan.
Oof. A lot of what Disney has been doing with Marvel, it looks like it's some sort of sitcom. It looks like the budget has been scaled back considerably. And it looks like even what they expect of the actors and the actresses has been scaled. Like all of the standards have just been lowered across the board. And a lot of it is just this jokey, yuck stuff, whatever. It's not my thing. And my point was today, when you compare it with what is going on in other mediums, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know if you saw the final trailer for this today. But this thing looks epic. It looks amazing. I don't know how anybody could watch this trailer and just be like, yeah, that sucks. Everything about this trailer just screams, we were focused. We're taking this seriously. We listened to what people said in the past about the previous game, which got rave reviews as well. But we listened to whatever critiques were out there. We got ghost ships going on. What? Like, I mean, how can you watch a trailer like this and then you go and you watch a trailer like this? Yes, I know one's a movie, one's a video game, but you can tell the creative vision behind each one. They're very, 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 very different.
Okay, so our powers are entangled. I can manipulate light energy. And you, I can totally show you. Hi. Where's our doctor? Wherever you are.
And actually, speaking about retribution, as I was talking about earlier,
We're a team. No, we're not a team. We're not a team.
oh, I think I missed it. But in this particular Beastie Boys song, at one point in time, I think when it's like she's first introduced, it goes, "Don't tell me to smile." And that is the retribution for years ago when people were saying that Brie Larson had limited range. And they didn't even say like she has to smile. That was another manufactured thing. It was more along the lines of, if you look at her, she has no range. It's just every single face is just like pretty much the same. But it's the vision behind Marvels is, oh, we're going to find a little way to stick it to people that we disagree with. But then if you go to Zelda, it's, we want to wow. We want people to have their jaws dropping. We want them to be like, holy moly.
Zelda.
Completely different. Just compare the two. Now, the other one thing that I will say about the reactions to these sorts of things, the Mario movie is another one. This is my rant on a subset of YouTubers. There were YouTubers when the Mario trailer came out, and they were saying that it was going to be wokety woke, woke, wokaroo, woke, 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 woke. Don't, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be the worst thing ever. Why? Because Princess Peach had like a few lines or something in the trailer. And now those same exact people are out there and they're celebrating the Mario movie and acting as if it's quote unquote anti-woke. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't make super chats off a trailer saying it's going to be woke and it's going to be horrible and it's going to be the most rotten thing ever. And then when it comes out and it's not that, then say it's anti-woke. Please give me super chats because this is sticking it to the woke crowd. So you're just playing it both ways. And it's like one of the weirdest things. Like we talked about earlier about like the drones out there. Do you want to know who's a drone? If you listen to somebody and they say one thing one day, give me money for this. And then the next day they're like, take the exact opposite stance. Give me money for this. Super chats, send the super chats. You might be dealing with someone who's a little like Mr. Pearson here. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're giving me the super chats. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm so glad. So just be on the lookout for those sorts of things. Let's see. They exist. They're out there. Oh, I didn't even get to some of the other. Boop. All right. So we covered a lot of the political stuff. And so back to the iconic comic stuff. Keep an eye out for later this year. Timothy Lim, Mark Pellegrini. They got more awesome plushies coming out. You're gonna. I will be getting this. Within the first couple minutes that the campaign launches. This is on the agenda because this is extremely cute. So be on the lookout for that. And then also I mentioned this on Twitter. I have not mentioned it here. Where's my thing and my boo? All right. So last year, around Thanksgiving, I put out a tweet and I was saying that I got some merch. I've been working on it for a year. This stuff takes a long time to get through. So people know that She Lava did the Soul Finder theme song last year for the crossover. And when she did the theme song, it came out on CD and it was offered with the campaign. But then I was like, okay, we got the CD and we got the theme song. We got to get it. We got to get the record out as well. So I started working on the record a year ago. And I hinted at it at Thanksgiving, Steady As She Goes. So those of you that know about, that I've seen Jack White in concert multiple times. He's got the side projects all over the place. He's got the raconteurs. Steady as she goes. Steady as she goes. He also has a company called Third Man Pressing, and they do vinyl. And so, like I said, that was my hint. I couldn't believe that nobody called me out on it. That was going to be a Doug prize for somebody. But anyway, everything is that should be up on the website in the near future. It took me forever I had to get She Lava to sign off on the rights to be able to do it. Then you have to get with a printer, and then the printer needs to print the jackets. So you got to get the artwork for the jackets. And then after that, then the printer needs to send it to Third Man, and they can't put you in the queue until they get the jackets. And after they got the jackets, then they'll do the vinyl, and then they'll send you the test vinyl. And then after that, then when you sign off on that, then you could do it. It takes a long time to do this sort of stuff. So anyway, check that out. That'll be on the Iconic Comics website. I'll obviously. So I don't know if I want to time it for Soul Finder Volume 4. I don't know. There's also a short story, Noctis Terrari, that I'm doing, Soul Finder Night Tear or Night Tears. I might simultaneously do with that. We'll see. But yeah, so that is knocked off the list. And then I have 2 more merch pieces that I've been working on. One for like now well over a year. I got to circle back with them today. Some of this stuff takes forever, but we're making progress across the board. And let's see. I may have showed this last time, but we got Soul Finder Volume 4 on the way. Jeff Spokes art. And before I tune out of here, one more time, Downcast Volume 4, Hunting Ground, Clint Stoker. Clint been putting out books like crazy over the past few years, and he's always put his nose to the grindstone. Like I said earlier, these books are expensive, man, especially if you're doing hardcover books. And I know he did a hardcover with Dracula. And the past couple of times that Clint put out a book, right when he puts out a campaign, this is another thing. I empathize with anybody who has to put up with this junk. There's always people that come out of the woodwork and they start basically dumping on you. And it's right when somebody puts out their campaign and they're just like say all sorts of crap about the creator because they want to poison the well against the creator. I cannot stand that stuff. If you wait until somebody starts a campaign and then you start trying to poison the well against them, you are a diarrhea golem of a human being. Now, obviously, you can change your ways. I believe that everybody, again, as a practicing Catholic, you can repent for your behavior before the Lord. But if you don't do that and you just go out of your way to try and kneecap somebody's campaign when they start it, again, you're acting like a diarrhea golem of a human being. And you need to look in the mirror and you need to see that you are a diarrhea golem of a human being and you need to change your ways. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if you're one of these individuals that you go after people like Clint Stoker when he's never done anything to warrant any sort of attack on his character, you're a diarrhea golem. So that's my 2 cents for the day. Oh, no, you know what? We won't. I didn't even get to that yet. I'm all over the map with this sort of stuff. So Tyler Carpenter, he put out Captain Cummins. Thanks for tuning in. Rob, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Anybody else I missed? Ethereal Dragon, thanks for tuning in. I hear Mario is a good movie. I heard that as well. So Tyler Carpenter puts out a tweet today that I was like, oh, man. So he goes, I'm part of a Facebook group for indie creators, and every week I see the same complaints over and over. 1, my campaign is struggling. 2, I'm not getting backers. 3, there are no live shows to go on. 4, no one will promote me. All right. So first of all, Tyler Carpenter has far more patience than me. If you want to know how to get creators to not like you very much, when they're like, no one's promoting me, me, and they constantly do that all over again, and you turn to them and you're like, guess what, dude? Life doesn't owe you a thing. And as long as you think that everybody in life owes you something, you're setting yourself up to be angry and to be resentful towards people around you. So anyway, Tyler goes, warning, this is going to sound harsh. Sometimes people need to hear the harsh truth. I'm seeing a lot of people in the indie comic scene say the following: Kickstarter is really hard right now because of the economy, and campaigns that should be doing well are struggling. That's your first mistake right there. You ever noticed that these people that are like, these campaigns should be doing well, but they're not? It's always their own campaign. They're like, why does nobody appreciate my genius? They're talking about their own campaign. They're like, campaigns that should be doing well are not doing well. Oh, you mean like your campaign? The one that you just released? The one that's got 30 days left to go and you've got 15 backers? Yours? Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, it is. Okay. So they say there's no in between. So either you're basically Common America Volume 7 and Omnibus, and you're garnering 2,606 backers with $107,311 brought in on Kickstarters, not to mention Indiegogo, or you're nobody is promoting me. Tyler says, here's the truth. The Kickstarter market has corrected itself. I am so thankful I walked away for the most part. I might not stay away forever, but I am so glad I walked away from the crowdfunding sphere and having to deal with these sorts of people. Delusions of grandeur, where they just think they are the ultimate genius and their campaigns every campaign deserves to make $100,000. And if they don't make $100,000, well, there's something wrong with the audience because they didn't appreciate my genius. The Kickstarter market has corrected itself. For too long, too many creators relied on just posting a campaign, jumping onto others' live streams, and doing Kickstarter updates and hoping to grow and get backers, while ignoring to build their own audience or learn the skills to do so. Yeah. You want to? I'll actually give a Justin Pearson. Yeah. sort of thing for that, because that's the truth right there. Edwin, the Ace Acevedo is here. Edwin, thanks for tuning in. I mentioned Clint Stoker earlier, just a solid dude. Edwin, the Ace Acevedo, he's been on a couple times over the years to promote his book. Is volume 1 and volume 2. Edwin has always been a nice guy to me. Edwin was the very, 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 very first person to reach out to me to actually be on a live stream to promote Soul Finder Demons match back in the day when, like I was talking about with Clint Stoker, people come out of the woodwork and they try and kneecap your campaign. Edwin never did that to me, and that is why I will continue to look for projects to support with Edwin's name on them and Clint Stoker's name on them. But again, if you are a human diarrhea golem, I will not back your campaign. In fact, I will not lift a finger, and I will watch. And when it fails, and when you go, nobody is backing, nobody is promoting, maybe it's because of your own character or lack thereof. Just saying. Tyler goes on. The creators, quote, struggling, haven't built their own unique fan base and have been living on rented land. Oh, Tyler, good one. Which has either been the Kickstarter platform or other people's promotional efforts. Now that time is over. There are basically no live shows or podcasts to go on that'll bring in backers, and update swaps will often bring in 2 to 3 backers, depending on who you do it with. If your Kickstarter is struggling, it's because of you. This is not going to make Tyler Carpenter popular amongst other creators. They don't want to hear that they are to blame for their own campaign's failures. They don't want to hear that they have to do the heavy lifting themselves. Now, if other people do heavy lifting for you, that is awesome. Again, you should expect nothing. Life owes you nothing. And if other people start lifting your campaign up for you, well, then you should be grateful. That's the cherry on top. That's just a bonus. You should be thanking God that complete strangers care enough about your work to spread the word about it. But if you go around thinking that everybody owes you, then you get all angry and resentful. And then you go on your own channel and you start ranting and raving and lying about people and trying to tear them down so you could raise yourself up. That's what happens over and over and over again. All right, let's see. Rented land. You need to adhere to the products that Kickstarter comic backers like. That's another thing I've seen over the years. You have these individuals that put out these totally esoteric genre type things that like 2 people are interested in. You're like, if you do some sort of like, I don't know, I'm just making something up, like gothic equestrian mystery novel, young adult, I don't even know what, and then you expect it to get $100,000 and 3,000 backers, and then you get upset when it doesn't. It's got like 2 people that are into goth equestrian mystery novels for young adults. Like, then you get all mad, like, why isn't anyone into my equestrian mysteries? Well, it's because it's an equestrian mystery, obviously. All right, so Tyler goes on. Basically, no one has done manga on Kickstarter, and yet I've succeeded each time and funded within hours. As my marketing efforts grow on the platform, I'm seeing my growth on the platform. So success begets success. Failure often begets failure. As you can get momentum in either direction. You could get momentum in terms of success, or you can get momentum in terms of failure. All right. Let's see. So he says, if you're in the camp of my Kickstarter is struggling, then please realize that you need to change something. Either your marketing strategy, your product, or how you grow your audience. Good luck to everyone. I like how Tyler basically he does the suplex on these like individuals that are just permanent victims, like constantly talking about how the world is out to get them. He's like, boom, suplex, and then he's just like, good luck. Good luck, everyone. Keep making comics and have a silly goose time. Now, again, this is not going to make Tyler popular, and there are people that are seething at this advice. I promise you that there are people that are essentially rubbing their hands together. Ooh, Tyler Carpenter dares to criticize me. Tyler Carpenter dares to tell me that it's my fault because my equestrian mystery novel is not succeeding. Ooh, I'm going to get that guy. I'm going to wait until he tweets something that I don't like, and then I'm going to get my revenge. We talked about retribution earlier. Ooh, I'm going to get that guy. Ooh, Tyler Carpenter. Ooh, he better wait because 4 years from now, I got a DM where he said that people weren't promoting his book. He did it one time, but one day I'm going to wait 3 years from now, and I'm going to release this DM out of context. And it's gonna be Tyler Carpenter complaining about promo, and I'm gonna tell people that every day he was DMing me and he was complaining about promo. Tyler Carpenter is a hypocrite, man. That's what these people do. So Tyler, bravo for going out on a limb and just telling people the truth, even if they don't want to hear it. Now, myself, I have in many ways just completely divorced myself from as I've said before, the creator community, because I can't deal with this. I cannot deal with people that come out of the blue that have never talked to you before. Here, let me tell you what some of these creators do. They never talk to you ever. You've never heard peep from them. And in fact, sometimes they go on stream where people are just talking crap about you. And then they launch a campaign out of the blue and they follow you on Twitter. They like just randomly. Oh, it just so happens to coincide with, hey, let's make it happen for Billy Bob Joe Wiggy Woggle Woo or whatever, my campaign. And you're like, why would I make it happen for you? Why? Why would I do anything? You never talk to me. You've never talked to me once. I don't even know who you are, but you and all of your friends, every time you launch a campaign, you follow me. And then sometimes what they do is they follow you for the duration of your campaign. And then if they see that you haven't tweeted them after a week, they unfollow you. And you're just like, what? Like, oh, I see. You're, again, one of these transactional people. You don't give a rip about me as a human being at all. You just want me to do something for you. And you think that I am stupid. You think that I can't see right through you. Well, no. In fact, I'm actually kind of insulted that the only time you would even talk to me is when you think that you can squeeze some sort of financial juice out of my wallet. And so I will not talk about you. I will not talk about your campaign, and I will not talk about you ever. I will talk about Edwin the Ace Acevedo's campaign. I will talk about Clint Stoker's campaign. I'll talk about Tyler Carpenter. I'll talk about Timothy Lim and Mark Pellegrini and Matt Weldon and Bill Williams and Eric Canetti. But I'm not going to talk about you because I've never seen you before, and magically and then sometimes what these people will do, they've never talked to you ever before, and sometimes you've actually seen them take bizarro shots at you, and then they show up in your DMs, and you're like, what? And they're just like, hey man, gonna promote my book? I'm like, who the F are you? You've got some nerve. Is this some sort of setup or something like that? Somebody who went out of his way to kneecap my work is going to like ask me to help him out? I literally saw you, dude. No, I'm not going to help you. I'm not even going to respond to this because I feel like this is a trap of some sort. Like, who is this guy? What? No. So anyway, I could go off for hours on this, but thank God that Tyler Carpenter is out there doing his thing and unfortunately making enemies along the way. Because I promise you, there are people that they screenshotted this tweet, they archived it, and they have it, and they are waiting for the day that he says something that they could take him to the cleaners for. They could rake him over the coals, because a lot of these people, they are vindictive individuals. So Anyway, so that's that again. Boop. All right, kind of said my piece on that. If you haven't checked out Soul Finder Infinite Ascent, check it out. Soul Finder Volume 4 is on the way. I am well into Soul Finder Volume 5. Talked to Dave Dorman yesterday. I think everything's good to go. Unless, there's some issues that come up. Dave seems to be on board for another cover for Soul Finder Volume 5. I'm psyched about that. It's going to be Cold War, Soviet Union nuclear submarine type sort of things. So check that out. And I can't wait until I let you know who the artist is for Soul Finder Night Terrors. That's going to be pretty cool. And one last time, Mr. Pearson, take it away, brother.
This movement that's gonna change this country.
Yeah.
This movement.
Oh, yeah.
This moment.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna change the country.
Gonna change.
I'm so glad.
Oh, I'm so glad. So glad. I'm glad. So glad. Yeah. 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 Oh, yeah. Woo! We're gonna preach it across the United States, from Detroit to Philadelphia to Los Angeles to San Francisco. We're gonna change it like we change our underwear. All right, I'll see you later. All right, guys, thanks again for everything. Check out Downcast Volume 4. Be on the lookout, Edwin the Ace Acevedo. Be on the lookout for Soul Finder Volume 4 later this year. Common America, Black Hops, Eric Canetti, Arc Athena, Matt Weldon, Bill Williams, Punchline. Yeah, so all right. Thanks again. Appreciate it. See ya.